I'll tell you the truth. You haven't a fucking clue. I'll tell you who the best footballers of all time were, and they weren't often played in Kerry either. I tell you the truth. I could start with the goalies. Stephen Cluxton from Dublin with 9 All Irelands, and what's his name, Martin Furlong. I was thinking of the general there for a minute. Martin Furlong from Offaly, John O'Leary from Dublin, and Niall Morgan, of course, from Tyrone. Yeah, will stop. Charlie Nelligan had wiped the floor with all of them. Billy Morgan from Cork. You haven't a clue at all about in Dublin. You think the whole world revolves around Kerry, do you? Yeah. What about, who's your best defender then? Who do you think would be the best defender? I think Tony Scullion from Derry and Kieran McGeady would be my best defenders. Yeah, the Bible will stop. Paddy shed run rings around them, the men from Wish, Kerry and Seamus mining with him. If you put the two of them there, they wouldn't have fat go past them. They wouldn't have fat go past the two of them. I'll go on out of that. You're full of it down there in Kerry. I'll tell you, where are you with the midfield? Well, you can't mention midfield now without Mick O'Connell, the great Mick O'Connell. Alright, I'll give you that. Mick O'Connell was glorious. I wish I'd laid eyes on the man, but I was inside a reform school at the time. Dermot Earley from Roscommon, but of course Brian Mullins. I remember the mullet on Brian Mullins, the big long hair out in the middle of the field. The size of me was a colossus. The pouring rain. Yeah, Sir Jack O'Shea was always on top of Brian Mullins, and Shawnee Welsh took care of him as well. Great midfielders, and I would agree with you about Dermot Earley and Roscommon, alright, but Jack O'Shea with 7 All-Irelands and 6 All. So how in the name of God do you want to come up against Jack O'Shea? What about Anthony Toole from Derry? And I suppose your own Dara O'Shea. He'd have to be thrown in there, wouldn't he? I'd say he would know, alright, in fairness, Dara. And when he went up for the ball and he came down, there was snow on top of the ball. And don't forget Brian Fenton in Dublin. The essential midfielder is Brian Fenton. I mean, everybody knows that. And John McDermott from Meath, Kieran Whelan from Dublin. Where the bloody hell are you going? And if you go up further, you're talking about Paul McGrain from Armagh. You know, Mike Murphy from Donegal, Michael Murphy, and across the country there, you're looking at Kevin Welsh from Galway. I know what you're saying, but Sean Canavan from Tyrone was very good. And one of the greatest midfielders I ever saw was Jim McKeever from Derry. Way up past the north. And who do you think is the greatest full forward of all time? Well, I suppose you'd have to start with John Egan. John Egan was unreal altogether. We never see the like of him. An engine, like a diesel engine inside him. And of course Mikey Sheehy. Mikey would all run up the field to the left and to the right, and there was nothing wrong with his accuracy, I'll tell you. And that Colm the Gooch Cooper was very fast. You haven't a clue above in Dublin. How about Greg Blaney from Down and Peter Canavan from Tyrone, old Petrol Pete, you remember Pete? Paul Flynn from Dublin, Dermot Connolly with the big mad head and him out in the middle of the field. Well, I suppose you're coming to the real class now. But you're talking about class, you have to put in David Clifford. I never seen anything, the best I've ever seen with my own 2 eyes. After going to over 200 All-Irelands, I've never seen anything better than Clifford. How about Trevor Giles of Meath and Bernard Flynn from Meath, sure. Where would I go with? Who could forget Morris? Morris was like an old movie star. He was like a film star, a model of a man from the west, out in the middle of the field. The sun tanning him, the women. Did you know that more women went to All Irelands when Morris was playing than anyone else? He had a suntan in his legs and the white shots and the green and gold jersey blowing in the wind, and he put in the ball. The ball was outside Croke Park when they put it down on top of the line, and the referee said kick it from there, and he still put it over the bar. How about Padraig Joyce from Galway, Colm O'Rourke from County Meath? I don't know. I don't know. There were so many of them there, wasn't there? But in fairness, you must have been doing something down in Kerry. You must be breeding them, breeding footballers. First thing they say when they're born, will he make a good footballer? I suppose it's true. But you haven't you the rare old times over in Dublin. You had the best of writers, and we had Sigerson Clifford down here in fairness, but you had James Joyce and Oscar Wilde and all them old fellas up there. Anyway, here's to good health, and here's to another All Ireland. Good luck.